Welcome to Blue Rock Station, home of Ohio's first Earthship and Green Living Center. We have workshops that thousands of people come during the year to visit, feed the chickens, learn how to build a tire house, eat great food, and just have a really good time. And this is Rosie. She's our French-speaking dog. She's become our ambassador, and she loves to greet everybody that comes. She doesn't know a stranger, and she actually never even barks at people. She barks at animals because she's a guardian livestock dog. Cheek, 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 cheek. Come on, girls. Cheek, 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 cheek. Come on, cheek, cheek. The white goat is Eleanor, and she's our milk goat, and we have her here for a lot of reasons. First, she gives us really great raw milk, so we don't have to have pasteurized milk, and she also gives a lot of great poo for the garden, and she eats a lot of the things that the llamas don't like to eat. So she eats the tops and the llamas eat the bottoms, and everybody gets along really well. Anyway, okay, so let's talk about wetlands. This building, which is called an Earthship, is designed by Michael Reynolds, who is an architect from Taos, New Mexico, and he's famous for creating these buildings because they're made out of materials that would normally end up in the garbage flow. So the house is made with about 1,400 tires, and it's also made with many, many straw bales and tons of cans and tons of beer bottles and lots of whiskey bottles, Jim Beam bottles we've used. One example would be the wetlands, which are behind me. All of the gray water, which is the water that comes from the sinks and the washing machine and the shower, goes into this giant planter that's behind me, or we actually have one at the other end of the house as well. So the water goes into one of those two locations. And then that water passes through sand and gravel, and it goes to a holding pit that's at the end of the wetland, on the other end of the wetland. And the water can stay there until we need it. The wetland also helps us to grow food year-round. Right now we're growing an indeterminate tomato. That means that it's an heirloom variety, so we don't know how long it will be, but it's probably about 200 feet at this time. This is the living room of the Earthship. Each of the three main rooms of the house are called U's because of the shape of the room. And people often feel when they come into the house very welcomed by it, and we reckon that that's because it's round like our bodies instead of square. And so we tend to live in square houses that don't always feel that welcoming. The house is able to heat and cool itself without any help from us. Part of the reason is because we have created walls with the tires that are rammed with earth, and that gives us the ability to create thermal mass. Then each of the tires, when we create the wall, you can see how the wall is utilized. The top of the tire wall is where that shelf is sitting, and the tires are rammed with earth by standing on top of them and hammering with a sledgehammer, and then each tire weighs about 300 pounds apiece. And then when we're finished with the tire wall, we backfill dirt onto the back of the house, which faces north, and then that enables us to create that cave effect. That means that the house really doesn't get below about 55 degrees with no heat source. Well, one of the things that people like to ask us about are why we came here, what motivated us to come here and build a house out of trash and invite thousands of strangers into our living room. And one of the things that we didn't realize in the beginning about why we were doing this was that it really had the potential to make a difference for a lot of people. We thought it was just making a difference for us. And we wanted to live in the country. We wanted to build a house that potentially could maybe have an economic impact for our community by bringing people here, but I don't think we totally understood that in the beginning. But people just started showing up when we were building the house, and then we started charging money to try to keep them from coming, and then they started coming by the busloads. So we said, well, let's see if maybe we could create a business out of the house and the different techniques we use in creating the buildings. And I think for myself, I've always been wanting to be in this place, even though I didn't know what it was or where it was. But I just really love the idea of being in the country and living a life where the animals are as important in what we do as we are, and working all together. And I think it has made a big difference for our community economically, because people come here and they buy things and they stay overnight in motels. But it's even more than that. I think it changes some people's way of thinking more about how they could do better with the resources they have. And that's powerful for us as well. But we'd still be doing this if nobody came, because it's what we want to do.